Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcast, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Guess what? Last Sunday, as you heard, I wasn't on the air. I mean, yes, you heard my rebroadcast show, but I was busy. Sorry. Too much going on. I'm just a human being, and I really enjoy being here with you. I was just realizing yesterday that I'm almost 6 years on the air, and it's a great opportunity. But sometimes, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to just be there and cram a show just because I need to do it. So I prefer let it go, focus on what I'm doing, and guess what? We are back. We have a great guest. There's also, I consider him a friend. He's a brother in freedom. Even, of course, so we have different mothers. We all somehow come from somewhere, or at least we came from somewhere. And in this situation with this man, I really share the same roots. We share the same town. We have bought from Rome, Italy. And it's funny because, he still has a kind of a fresh accent. Not because mine is not fresh, but, he's fresher. And when we talk together, even in English a little bit, it reminds me a lot of myself when 20 years came here. His name is Leo Zagami. I had him on my show several times, and he's going to share with us the latest, unfortunately sad, news about what's happening with him, why he had to leave Italy. But I look at this as a positive thing. I say screw Italy, and with all the respect for my brothers and sisters there, I'm talking about screw the Italian government, screw the corruption, and come to America and let's have some fun. So here we go. Leo Zagami is going to share with us the latest news, why and when, really now, what's going to happen now to him, because now technically he's on American soil. And I'm going to meet him soon at the end of the month, the 30th of June, here at Kingman for Force for his book tour. Leo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. It's a pleasure to be on your show, Gianluca, as usual, as always. And, of course, my accent is still fresh. I'm still fresh on the U.S. soil. But like you, I share the fact that I had to almost flee Italy because of the consequences of our different way of thinking, of the fact that we challenge the system, that we don't want to be enslaved by it in a Europe which is looking more and more like an Orwellian nightmare. So I am glad to have left Italy before they basically condemned me at the beginning of June to pay almost $20,000.
Wow.
With the possibility for the next judge to actually ask even more for the same case, on a civil case, of course, because the penal one, they closed it, and actually, in that case, closed it in my favor without any, request for being arrested or anything, because we showed enough evidence which actually should have completely taken off any judiciary case. But as you know, Italy is very corrupt. They wanted to really get to me in every way possible. And I was talking to you regularly in the last few months. We know each other for a few years now. And it was you who actually suggested to leave Italy as soon as possible when you started hearing what was happening to me. Because
let's remind 1 second something, because people, when they say, you've been convicted, let me say something, American people from around the world, but mostly American people, because we are kind of good here. As much things are bad, we still have it good. In Italy and Europe, there is no freedom of speech. You as an individual, you cannot even criticize, for example, the Pope, or maybe the Italian president. So whatever happened to you, Leo, let's give it a short story, just because for sharing your opinion, they're also based on facts. I know that you always do a great work on factual research. They can just bring you to jail, to in front of a judge. And by the way, the judge, there is not even a jury. The judge can be completely compromised. And according to the information you gave me, this judge lady was, for me, completely part of the plan. And they can slam you, like, for example, with huge fine, like happened, for example, to Brigitte Bardot, the famous actress from the 70s, that just because a few years ago said that France that she knew is gone because this Muslim invasion, and that's true, and she was even using better words than mine, she got slammed with 16,000 euro fine for hate crime. Okay, and if she didn't pay, goes to jail. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. Pretty much what happened since the beginning. Okay, nothing really changed. There never was a Bill of Rights. So, Leo, let's spell it out in few words. What exactly happened? Why did you face these charges, or whatever type of charges were in this civil lawsuit?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the only lawsuit that they were moving against me. That's the problem. I mean, it was one of the 3 different ones that apparently were moving against me, and the last one I didn't even know about until they actually came to my door one evening, the police with sirens to communicate that the Pubblico Ministero, the district attorney, had communicated to the judge that it was not such a big deal, this Facebook post, something I didn't even know about. This is another court case, the tribunal, which was the Tribunal of Tivoli. In the meantime, the Tribunal of Monza was moving against me this defamation case, which started in the Tribunal of Perugia, which we all know, even from the latest events in Italy, that is very much leaning on the left, and it's in the hands of Freemasons that are often corrupted by the Vatican. And so the irregular Freemasons, because that's where the Freemasons that were citing me, because I exposed them in Volume 1, were connected to that infamous Monte Carlo Lodge, which I actually used to belong to. You see, when I started my revelations in 2006, they tried to stop me in every way possible, and then they actually invited me to go and talk with them in December 2006, and that's when I met these guys that eventually will sue me. So it's of course a conspiracy, but there is also another lawsuit in the tribunal instead of Florence, which was moved against me.
My gosh.
That was without really a reason that can even be. This guy called Luca Monti had actually, I had a Masonic Obedience, an association in Italy, a political association, and this guy wanted to let in communists in their lodges.
Wow.
And I immediately blocked him. And after that, I, of course, said you can't use the name of our association, and our association is clean. We always check, all the casellario giudiziario, all the kind of possible things that each person has, because it's obligatory in Italy for anybody who wants to join this kind of association to give, how you call it here in America, the casellario giudiziario.
The criminal record, criminal record, if I'm right.
I took these criminal records always very seriously, and I will never let any mafiosi in my lodges or anything like that.
Yeah.
One is this guy, after I denounced him publicly, he had the courage to denounce me because he said that he was free of doing what he was doing, while instead he was actually letting a mafiosi inside his lodge, which led to an investigation. And fortunately, after I was able to expose him, but before I was actually called by the Carabinieri and actually had to be subject to a denuncia by this guy. And the Carabinieri, when they read the denuncia, because it was all about Freemasonry and technical things that have nothing to do with the legality.
Yeah. Let's explain the word denuncia. Pretty much this person press charges against you. That's what means denuncia, press charges, okay? So, and the reason why, just because you said something they didn't like, I guess, right? I mean, you didn't beat them up, you didn't threaten them with a weapon, you just say something that, by the way, according to you, was also true. So
I wrote simply an article on my website to denounce that this lodge in Florence wasn't a part of my Masonic Obedience anymore, that I was distancing myself from these people because they were not serious Freemasons or serious people. Now, because we have irregular Freemasonry and large parts of Italian Freemasonry is infiltrated by the mafia, we of course make sure that this kind of things are taken very seriously. And I shouldn't have been the one called by the Italian police, the Carabinieri. Instead, I was the one that suddenly was subject to persecution, and that was another criminal case. So criminal cases, Gianluca, were starting to build around me on a regular basis. Every time I open my mouth in Italian, that's why I stopped talking in Italian on Facebook. 1st of January.
Stop 1 second, Leo. That's exactly what I want people to understand. You didn't rob, you didn't kill, you didn't threaten anybody. All you did, you were sharing information based on your opinions and facts, and you were backing it up, just on your pages, on your Facebook, on your website, your blog. And that's enough material to have your life ruined. Enough material that occult forces, especially when, they have unlimited money. They don't worry about, a few $1,000s for lawyers, but they can completely destroy your life. It's like a bleeding experience. One lawsuit here, one lawsuit there. One criminal charge here, one criminal charge there. People don't understand Italy is not America. You have no freedom of speech. There is not really a Bill of Rights. So much that, when we were talking the other day together, if we offend the illustrioso, come si dice, l'egregio, the magnificent Italian freaking president, I'm on the radio, I can curse as much as I wish, I could spend, technically, you could spend 5 years in jail. There is a specific law that you can offend His Excellency. So right now, since we're in America, Leo, I'm not speaking for you. I'm not going to tell you what to say. If you want to join me, that's my voice. And my name is luca-zanna. Leo Zagami is completely separated from me. I already sent a nice poem to Mr. Italian President Giorgio Napolitano about 5 years or 6 years ago, something like that. And I heard that he didn't like it. I'm not going to go through the whole poems, but I have a simple love message. Giorgio Napolitano, ma vaffanculo. That's the message. I hope you can hear it. And this is straight from my love from Arizona. By the way, if you think I broke some law, I said, Napolitano, screw you. Okay?
No, Napolitano can be screw him and fuck off to Napolitano and all the people that follow him. But the problem is that Giorgio Napolitano now is the Presidente Emerito, is the former president, even if he is actually in charge behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And the new one in charge is Sergio Mattarella, who is a mafioso, a son of a man from the mob. And that guy is actually an ex-CSM. He comes from the judiciary. He's a magistrate, ex-magistrate. And so he comes from that corrupt system that has positioned the judiciary in the hands of the left wing in Italy for such a long time, and that now they're trying to expose. But how are you going to expose anything in Italy if you have a president who is still in the hands of the left, the center left, this cattocomunismo, this evil mix of communism and Catholicism that only in Italy was forged after the war. So Italy is completely lost. And so I'm not scared with you to say not only vaffanculo Napolitano, because I was the one who actually criticized Napolitano in December 2013 on national TV. And for that reason, I started to be persecuted and my books were taken off the shelves and all the rest.
Wow.
But I am not scared to say, Sergio Mattarella, sei un mafioso. And the Italians wake up and rebel.
Oh my God.
Because I can end up here, of course, and I'm at the moment, I'm a political dissident in search of a new home, and I hope the United States of America will be that new home. Of course, my wife is American, so I shouldn't have any problem with that. But Italy is a place which I'm only going to go back once I have a U.S. passport, because even yourself, Gianluca, were threatened and harassed with an American passport in an airport, which is the Fiumicino airport in Rome. Why don't you tell your story?
The point is, people need to understand, in general, in Europe, especially in Italy, they have a different system. Technically, they call it Napoleonic system or whatever. You need to prove that you're innocent, okay? Here in America, the role of government must prove that you're guilty. They can pretty much kidnap you and say, now you stay inside the hole in jail, and then figure it out and prove that you're innocent. Meanwhile, you're pretty much out of luck, because you gotta get lawyers, you gotta spend money, and they can mess with your life. So that's the scary thing when you are an Italian system judiciary. Don't get me wrong, the American system, we know, is being corrupted too. Look what happened. Hillary Clinton is still walking around, okay? We're not exactly perfect, but ideally, the way the system in America was found, it was much different, completely different from anything around the world. So now, going back to Italy for me, just because I said, express my, in a satirical way, by the way, I was never threatening with violence, but just kind of Roman cursing stuff, to the former Italian President Napolitano, I technically infringed a law violated the law, that could technically put me 5 years in jail. And I don't care, because first of all, I did this speech in America when I'm an American citizen, and I was even in Italy. But my point is, I came back to Italy. That was before even my poem, bottom line, and they started to harass the hell out of me. I mean, seriously. And then, of course, I found out through friends that next time I come back to Italy, I may be very well questioned at the airport by the Carabinieri. Carabinieri is the military police from Italy. And technically, you never know. They may question you. Maybe they can keep you for what? Maybe a week. Who knows? And guess what? I have no desire to come back to Italy, especially I don't like to separate myself from what I really consider is the right to keep and bear arms, means also the right of freedom of speech. In Italy, they don't have it. In Arizona, we have it.
That is the kind of thing people have to understand. Leo Zagami is a pro-gun person, somebody that wants self-defense, is somebody that doesn't want to be mobbed by the state, and never was until I, of course, tried to expose certain things. And those things, of course, were disliked by the Vatican, were disliked by the Italian Republic, which I think that is a criminal institution, because it's completely in the hands. It's like the judiciary system is in the hands of the left wing since the 60s. And then we have the rest of the system, which is, of course, in the hands of a sort of circus, which, of course, is in the hands of the Vatican. So, I mean, the Vatican controls on top the whole show in Europe, and that, people like Philip Juncker now, the other day, threatening Italy to become basically the new Greece by saying,
wow,
if you don't act immediately, we're gonna move against you with an infringement process which will last years. That means that Italy is being threatened by Philip Juncker, a guy who is not even, who is on his way out and should be kicked ass out of that place.
He needs to go to rehab, but he's always drunk. This is just a puppet from the globalists, you know that very, very well.
Gianluca, that a guy like Giuseppe Conte, the Prime Minister, doesn't have the balls, and even Matteo Salvini doesn't have the balls, because people have the balls only if they go not only in the street, but at this point they should riot and incite a civil war against these criminals that are in the Italian, in charge of the Italian system, which doesn't mean the government per se, because the government we know now is a populist government with the Northern League in charge. But we have, unfortunately, a coalition. So you have the Five Star Movement, and the Five Star Movement is in the hands of George Soros.
Yeah.
So in a sense, the whole thing is a charade. And people like me were persecuted in a way which is completely anti-human rights, anti-everything. I was locked up, made to hear Bella Ciao every morning, which is a communist song.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me that. You freaked me out when you told me that, by the way. This is very serious stuff. People may think it's a joke. This is serious. When they got you, it was the Carabinieri got you, or the military intelligence? Who was that?
The Carabinieri, they broke into my house, they brought me in an institution, and in this institution, a guy from the Tavistock Institute, and he said it open voice, he was working for the Tavistock Institute, he said, you are here, and every morning we're gonna make you hear Bella Ciao, and every morning there was this doctor will arrive with this song playing, and then in the end it took me 3 lawyers and a lot of money to get out of the situation and out of this mess. Now,
let me say one second. This is so serious what you said. Institution means a mental institution. That's exactly what Russia did during, the persecution of political dissidents. If they didn't like what you say, or they put you to the camps directly, gulags, or they give you the little, funny treatment, and they put you in this mental institution. And sometimes they also, of course, fill you up with drugs. No, sometimes they do that, and in some extreme cases give you electroshock, and you got on top of this very disgusting experience, because I tell you, I despise the song, even when I was a kid, and I wasn't really educated because I was in the public system. I always hated Oh Bella Ciao. I thought it was a dumb song. But anyway, that's a typical communist song that they brainwash us since we are children. And that to do it to you, a grown-up man, that's disgusting. Seriously.
It's disgusting, and my wife also was treated very badly, and not only that, Gianluca, even my family was involved, because they convinced my mother, they convinced my brother to participate in a conspiracy against me. And actually, when we intercepted the phone calls for this criminal case, we had confirmation that they also received calls from this person belonging to a Masonic institution that was that was the one that was actually suing me after. So they are trying to convince my family that I had to be locked up, that I had to be arrested, that what I was doing was wrong. It was really terrible, and up until the end they conspired to do that. So I was really having to plan everything with my wife secretly behind the scenes in the last few months to prepare and finally arrive here in the States. And that's where I'm going to stay. I'm definitely not going to go back to Italy until I have an American passport. And even so, I'm going to have to be careful because, like you said, you can get continually persecuted and harassed even when you have an American passport.
Yeah.
So the fact that you took out, at one point you said that we called the embassy scared them because the Italians are little chickens. And when it comes down to, when it comes down to the Americans, they behave like little chickens. So that's what
you remember Dante, Nessuno è profeta in patria. Dante, was a famous, for the American people, they may know, sometimes they don't, was one of the most famous Italian, authors, okay? He wrote the Divina Commedia. And, he had some sort of a very hard political, persecution. He had to leave Florence, was political persecution. He had to go around, like we did, like we're doing. And I see there is a pattern here, I tell you, man, sometimes it's true. We can be in our own country and nobody gives a damn. You go out and sometimes people listen to you a little better, at least what you have to say. So I can really congratulate you and your lady, to have the fortitude, because it's still, it's still your roots, you still have family, but sometimes you gotta survive, you got to take care of yourself, to leave everything behind, have a new fresh start. So, welcome to America, Leo Zagami.
Thank you, Gianluca, and the fact is that actually a few years back, before the censorship started and before that famous episode we cited earlier where I criticized President Napolitano, I actually got a lot of attention from the media. And I was actually getting thousands of people in the street with the Pitchfork Revolution being one of the people involved in it. And that was what scared the establishment. The fact that actually I could get the attention of the people, that I could invite them to march on Rome, just like 100 years ago Mussolini invited them to march on Rome. Well, guys, whatever. I'm a political dissident. They said, you know what they said to me when they locked me up? They said, you have the same sickness as Mussolini. I said,
well, I wasn't a fan of Mussolini, but I tell you, between Mussolini and whatever came after, I tell you, I would stick with Mussolini better than the communist, okay? Because, this is insane. At least Mussolini, even if it was always the idea that the state, it's pretty much the, main thing, it's called fascism, it's called National Socialism. But at least he was taking care of the Italian people. These freaking communists, they destroying everything that we had for the Italian people. So much that, look, every day I open the news, there is a new crime, there is a new violence, there is a new homicides. All this because 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they decided, the insiders, that Europe must be destroyed and the borders, they must be abolished. And now we have so much really cancer all over Europe, but especially Italy, that now we have no more even people that they want to integrate. They come from completely Muslim countries, and they come from places that they're really, the third or fourth world, and they come and they bring their barbarism. I mean, I was just reading today, there was another news, an African man, he was arrested by this policewoman, and then of course, tried to beat her up, and then he started to masturbate in front of her at the office. He got arrested, and of course the judge released him, because that's not really a bad crime. But if you're an Italian person and you don't pay your canone, that means your tax, your yearly tax, just because you own a TV. Let's think about it. People don't understand that they have that in Italy. Just because you don't pay that tax and you're on a TV, you can go to jail. Okay? I mean, that's scary stuff. But if you are an African Muslim, you can masturbate in front of the cop and beat her up, and the judge is going to let you go. Is that true?
Yeah, you can even have an axe and go axing people and be out of prison after a day.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you can get persecuted instead, like myself, for having done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So Of course, this is the worldwide plan of these people, to make us robots in this new world order that has these progressive communist values that we all have to embrace. And the Pope on top of it is the one who, of course, controls everything. And you know how much the Vatican has power in Italy. I mean, it's not really a state that has ever separated from the church, like the United States of America. So, I mean, I want to continue a battle here from the U.S. Of course, I want to become an American citizen, but I also want to become an example for those Italians who in the next few years want to rebel, but not rebel politically using democracy any longer, because democracy is not anything that we can use anymore in Italy. The whole system is rigged until they don't change this whole thing that you have an unelected president on top of it. Italy is simply a system which is, of course, not valid democratically. So how are you going to rebel to all that? You have to resist. Like they resisted to fascism when fascism came along, you have to resist to this system that, of course, Italians have to wake up. If the Italians don't wake up, it's their own problem, Gianluca. I mean, it's their own demise, it's their own squalor, it's their own...
I feel sorry because, I still have, first of all, I was born in Italy, even I'm an American, I burned my Italian passport, that's part of who I am. And I feel sorry, just not for Italy, but all over Europe. They never really had that moment I call 1776, where really the people say, enough is enough. We are nobody's slaves. I mean, if you think about it, Europe always transitioned from lords and kings, then the popes, and then to these phony republics that they weren't republics. They're still the continuation of the elite. And the church, of course, controlling people. So never really had the moment that we, the people, are in control and we are the government. This has always been a transition from slavery to, kings and serfs. That's the story. But now you're here, and I know that I'm going to meet you finally in person. Let's talk about your tour. Tell me about your tour. What's going on with your book?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, I have a few speaking engagements, and the very first one is on the 22nd in the Sacramento County area at the Veterans Hall, and that's a great event, of course, because part of the profits will also go to the veterans of past wars, and we know that this is a cause that, of course, is important. And then on the 30th, I will arrive in Arizona, in Kingman, and I will finally meet luca-zanna at the Kingman Force on Force headquarters. We will have this fantastic talk about my book, volume 6.66, which is this book which I have built around the fact that new technologies are linked with the demonic, and that there is a plan to literally put us in the hands of cyber Satan, which of course is this artificial intelligence which is fastly expanding and grabbing everything around us, and before we know it, we're going to receive the microchip, and we're going to be basically receiving the mark of the beast. So we are indeed living in an end time scenario. And I'm glad that people like you are true info warriors and are doing their work. I'm glad that in the last few years I've been associated with InfoWars and with Alex Jones, which has helped me very much during my time in Italy, because I was basically deep behind enemy lines in the real sense of the term.
You were really deep, yep. You were deep into crap. My God, if I think about it, when I saw the video of you walking around the Vatican and things like that, you were in the heart of the beast.
Yeah, I mean, in the heart of the beast, without being scared and facing them in their face, and actually, arriving literally face to the Pope is something that only a true revolutionary can do, and that's what happened when we did it with the pitchfork revolutions. We gathered momentum and we put pressure on the Pope. But after that, Italy fall into the hands of Matteo Renzi, who of course is working with the Bilderberg. The Bilderberg Club this year is still trying to destabilize countries like Italy and other countries to avoid the results of this populist revolution which we have seen with the latest elections. That I've seen also a lot of friends of mine elected, which I'm glad, but I don't know, as I said, I don't think democratically anything will change. I think that in the end, if they want to change in Europe, it will be because this Muslim invasion will become so evident that they will have to fight their way out of it with civil war. So, and that of course is not a pleasant thing. But there is not anymore that security, Gianluca, in the streets, or that security that you had back in the days when you were in Rome.
I don't remember security either. I had to fight myself a gypsy and other things that I don't even want to go now. I mean, 20 years ago, Italy was already bad, but now it's like really, truly like a war zone. You are like in Senegal, like you are in Nigeria. You're like surrounded by people that, I mean, the Nigerian mafia probably is more dangerous than the Italian mafia. Remember there was a guy in Italy, just in Turin, just a couple of months ago. A young man was walking, happy, smiling, going to work, just because he thought, hey, I'm here. It was a very nice little young man. This African probably was a Muslim too, what I understand, according to the media. He just walked close and he slashed his throat. He killed him. And when they arrested him finally, why did you kill him? Because he was too happy. This is Italy now. You walk on the way to work, you think you're having a great day, and guess what? You must be watching it. You gotta really worry about some Muslim from some third world countries may come there and chop your head. That's the fact. That's the fact.
And the problem is that the Vatican is in bed with these Islamic people because part of the cardinals within the Vatican have already secretly converted to Islam, like I've read many times. Right from the beginning of my exposure work, and was one of the things that put me in trouble, the fact that actually I discovered this secret link that there was between the Jesuits and the Islamic various factions of the Islam, both Sunni and Shiites, but factions that of course should have had no kind of connection to a Catholic institution, ended up being controlled by the Jesuits. I mean, the Jesuits have actually participated even into the training of ISIS in Syria. And so, I mean, we are in front of an organization which works hand in hand with the intelligence. Of course, Gianluca, it's not easy for Leo Zagami, such a public person, to come to the U.S. and continue this battle without being harassed. But, I mean, I think that I also have a lot of supporters. And this is really the great thing of it, is that I have a lot of supporters in the United States, like-minded people. Yeah. And that's why on the 30th, I invite everybody to come to Kingman. You can find information about this event at Gianluca Zanna's place in Kingman, Arizona, on my website. On the various articles, at the end of the article, I usually have a banner of the event. And for those who can't make it in Kingman, there is always this other event in the Sacramento area, which is next week. So, actually not next week, but in 9 days. So, I think that we are starting to build up momentum. I will have another speaking engagement in LA in the middle of September, and I have other speaking engagements that are popping up always here in California. And I tell you, California is, of course, very left-wing, very liberal, but there is gradually a change. You are starting to see these crunchy conservatives popping up. They are maybe not the kind of conservatives we are used to, but they believe in Trump's revolution. And there is more of them that are popping up. Actually, you know what? I saw a Mexican with a MAGA hat at Walmart.
I'm sure there are people, if there's at least, I have a lot of friends that they are like myself, you know, they were born from somewhere else. I have a few guys, they were born in Mexico. But why they're here? When they're smart, they understand. We're here because we don't want to be Mexico. Otherwise, you stay in Mexico. So, if you're a little bit smart, you embrace the idea to be an American. Because if it wasn't so great Mexico, you would have stayed in Mexico. So, there are a lot of great Mexican people that now they consider themselves Americans, even with Mexican heritage. At the bottom line, when they understand that, they're not going to go back there. They're not going to think like they were thinking. That's the idea. So I always embrace brothers and sisters. I don't care where you're from. You can be from any part of the world. But when you come here, you say, I want to become an American. I believe in the Bill of Rights. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in freedom. I believe in free market. I don't care where you're from. You are brother and sister. That's the way I look at these people like myself, you know, like yourself. You know, we are from Italy. Guess what? I have also a lot of Italian people that they should stay home. I know some idiots that they are still consider themselves communists. I say, why do you come to America? Go to freaking Venezuela, for freaking sake. Anyway. Leo, give the website, give the people how can they reach you, how they can buy your books. We need to support you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, of course they need to support me, and I will say that it's very important that they buy my books directly from my website. There is a couple of links to Volume 5 and Volume 6.66. These books and the other ones also that I've published with CCCC Publishing here in California are actually helping me out, because I'm not at the moment accepting any donations. I might run some kind of GoFundMe soon because of my legal expenses. As you know, there is a lot of legal expenses when you want to apply for a citizenship here in the U.S. But in the meantime, I just ask people to support me by buying my books. That's the best way to support me, and also the most honest way, and you are actually getting something out of it, because as you know, Gianluca, the information in these books is very good, it's very detailed, you can study it.
That's why also they're pushing you out. You know, they want to stop you. That's something like that. I think it's really important. People don't understand. You could have read about, like myself, I write erotic poems. Nobody bothers me with that. Yeah, I write songs that have been pissing off people. But the point, what you wrote is very serious stuff. And you open yourself to a lot of dangers. I forget about lawsuit. I'm amazed that they didn't kill you yet. Seriously.
Well, I mean, of course, I have my own protections, but I'm also persecuted. Recently, even in Arizona, we had a ban from the Arizona State Prison Department, which banned my Volume 2 of my confessions for some reason.
Wow.
I mean, a letter to my publisher saying, we're going to ban your book in all the prisons of Arizona. Guys, who cares? I don't know. I mean, it's
weird.
But this Volume 2 has particularly pissed off also the Satanists, because the Brotherhood of Satan tried to issue a lawsuit against me.
Wow.
And so, I mean, there is a lot of interest in blocking me and stuff. But, of course, now we are in a new phase for me, and so I invite people to buy my latest books, Volume 5 and Volume 6.66. Volume 5 is dedicated to the decline of the Western initiatic system, of the West in general, and the rise of Satanism, while Volume 6.66 is dedicated both to the artificial intelligence and robotics, the rise of this technology for cyber Satan, and at the same time also exorcism. Exorcism as the only weapon to fight these demons, and why the Catholic Church has tried not only to destroy the Roman Rite and to basically make it easy for the demons to possess people, but also why is the Catholic Church interested now in monopolizing exorcism for all faiths.
Wow.
Just like another attempt to prepare for the one world religion, you see?
Yeah.
So we are facing incredible, unprecedented times. I thank you so much for your support, Gianluca, and for the
Thank you. Thank you very much. My best to you and your lady. Don't forget to go to Leo Zagami website. Please, Leo, last time, give the website, straight the website. Go ahead.
It's www.leozagami.com. And tune in always for all the latest from me. And thank you, Gianluca, for having me on the 30th of June in Kingman, Arizona. In the afternoon, we will be presenting my latest book, Volume 6.66.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Leo. My best to you and your lady. I'll see you the 30th. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Thanks, Gianluca.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, that was Leo Zagami, and really enjoy the conversation. Of course, bring me back memories, bring me back really why I left Italy, and I'm here. And that's why people say, why you really came to America? Just the fact that I can freely speak. That would be enough reason. Just the fact that I was able to stand with the Bundys 5 years ago, putting, myself as a human being, as an American in front of the government and say, hey, we are the people. You're supposed to work for us. And no, you're not going to bust around this man and use violence against him. If you want to go do that, you got to go through the system. You don't go through your machine guns or whatever you have there and all the things they were doing. And we were able to stand up as a free Americans. Now we gotta get our freedoms back. We are losing them day after day. I will come back after this segment, after the little break, to tell you exactly also what's going on. Don't forget, come to see Leo Zagami. It's June the 30th, Sunday. I think it's about 2 o'clock at kingmanforsonforce.com. 3001 Stockton Hill Road. If you have bad intentions, in case you have somebody want to disrupt or want to do, bad things, don't forget. Don't forget, this is Arizona. Don't forget, this is not Europe. Don't forget, this is the right place if you want to come for that. Okay? Kingman Force on Force. We are here to defend freedom. We are here because we believe that self-defense is a human right. That's what we do. Talk to you soon.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go. We're back here into Kingman Force on Force studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. We just finished talking with Mr. Leo Zagami from Rome, now almost on the way to become an American. But right now, as I said, this show is not just about Illuminati, New World Order, freedom, of course. It's also about love and also about self-defense. After all, self-defense is an act of love. Because you can exercise, of course, self-defense for yourself. As a human being, you love yourself, okay? You should not allow anybody to boss you around and, of course, to harm you. But also towards innocence, because I think the ultimate act of love is a kind of a selfishless way to help and defend others. And how do you do that? First of all, you need to empower yourself to learn how to defend yourself and others. At Kingman Force on Force, that's what we do. It's about human rights. It's about learning how to defend yourself, first of all, starting from your mindset, and to try to help, average people out there, because we are average people too, to try to learn these techniques. You don't need to join the army. You don't need to become a special soldier or go to war to learn all these things. We want to empower every law-abiding person, man, woman, or between, that would like to learn these things. Now, I have with me a very nice lady that I had the pleasure and the honor to meet her and spend the last few months here. She's originally from another state, but we don't need to go into the details. I like just to, call her Wendy. That's her name. And she's one of my students. And I really enjoy her presence at the classes because she's really pushing, very hard from coming here with almost nothing as knowledge about these matters, and now she's really, really into it. And I really saw so much improvement in everything she does and she applies, from empty hands to edge weapon classes. Anyway, let me introduce her. Wendy, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. So, right now, many months you've been with us at Kingman Force on Force?
4 months.
4 months. Now, let's talk the first day you came, because, sometimes I like to pick people's mind. You came here, I remember the day, you asked me questions, you're from out of town, from out of state, and why did you come to Kingman Force on Force the first time? What was your motivation?
To learn self-defense, so when I'm out hiking and biking, I can protect myself.
And you had already some sort of previous experience that they gave you the hint, maybe something I should learn, right?
Yes, I did, on a biking trip.
Can you just shortly, was something freaky? Was real stuff? Did they try to harm you, or just some sort of a hint?
I was at a public parking spot waiting for my friends to all show up, and taking my bike out, not paying much attention to my surroundings, and had a conversation with a runner, I thought. And then when I came back to load my bike back up, he was waiting for me at my car. So thankfully my friends came in shortly after that, and he took off quickly. So you didn't really like this approach. Maybe it was just somebody was, you need to go back to manners and
maybe go back to Match.com. He didn't have an understanding that maybe in public somebody you don't know is not exactly, not only polite, but not even smart, to approach like that in a place that there is nobody around. I mean, it would be pretty normal to have some sort of concern, I mean, maybe there was just a guy that he didn't understand how to interact with the other sex. But maybe it could be also some psycho out there that we know that unfortunately there are more and more every day. Listen, you came here and you approach us first of all with the empty hands, I know that something that you enjoy. I see you. I mean, you're kind of really a warrior lady. When I see you here, you don't spare anything. We beat you up, we knock you on the ground. I mean, not because we do it, but you really like to be absorbed full time. I mean, with intensity to these things. You don't ask for halfway. So what is the first thing that you learn and you really think, okay, that was the best thing so far that made me open my eyes or maybe gave me an improvement to my, skills in general?
The first part of the class when you went through the colors and the awareness, because probably I walked around a lot in my environment, just self-absorbed in myself and focused on my things that I do and not knowing what's happening around me until it's too late.
That's true. And that's why the first class that, by the way, we offer for free, that we try to really put a lot of effort because the best fight is the one we can avoid. And how do we avoid a fight? We need to see it coming. If we are completely clueless, that's already too late. We become almost a target because, after all, criminals like to see clueless people because they think they have an advantage. So I don't care how many skills you have, but if you can have one skill, the one that you show that you are in control of your environment and understanding your surroundings, you have a chance to see it coming and hopefully avoid it. Anyway, so I see also another thing. We have a video of you that, by the way, was really nice. I really enjoyed doing it with you, the edge weapon experience. Tell me a little bit about these edge weapons. Why did you want to join edge weapon class? It's not exactly a ladylike skill in the the world out there.
The reason why I joined the edge weapon is because of you and the other instructor.
Mr. Kao.
Mr. Kao was telling me that I should be carrying a knife or some kind of weapon when I'm out hiking in the backcountry to protect myself from other humans and from animals. So I thought I'd give it a try.
Yeah, you're doing great, by the way. And we have a lot of fun, too. I mean, this is not just about, oh, my gosh, you're learning how to skin a human. This is about, first of all, learning how to defend yourself with your weapon. That first weapon is your body, is yourself, your mind, and then everything you can grab around. And to have a pocket knife, it's a great tool if you know how to use it. Otherwise, it's just something you can use to, to peel an apple, okay? I mean, so that, I think, people can watch your video, by the way. Can go to KingmanForceOnForce.com. There is an edge weapon page. And really, it's amazing to see a person that never really had any type of previous experience with knives for self-defense, how much in just a couple months, when we did that video, you completely assimilate and had fun too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like when you do because sometimes I join too, the little gladiators fight at the end.
The gladiator fighting at the end is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's more realistic of what's going to happen.
Yeah. And, we have this little knife. By the way, when we do gladiators, don't freak out there. Nobody's bleeding. There is no blood. We have a kind of, we have some bleeding once in a while. I mean, more than bleeding, like maybe, how you call it, contusion?
Contusion.
But we wear gloves too, okay? And we have this special knife that they are kind of just for training, of course. And they have the edge that you can put some special chalk. And so when you slice or cut or hit the opponent, there is a little mark. And you see when you got hit. But anyway, it's really fun. Now, we're going to the next stage. You started with empty hands. Then you say, let me try edge weapons. Now we're doing handgun classes. What's going on with you? I mean, really, seriously.
It's a lot of fun. It's empowering to have the knowledge.
Yeah. And I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, you never really had any previous experience or desire to really go to let me hone and learn how to use a handgun. Am I right?
No, I have had no desire to do that.
So that's amazing. I feel like honor, honestly, that you give me that type of trust and the opportunity to share this information, because I think sometimes, we are a little bit afraid of things we don't know or things that we know maybe because they're being presented to us in a wrong way. Sometimes, say, I know people that when they were children or in previous experience, they had the first interaction with a firearm was with some idiots out there that they don't even give them, for example, I don't know, ear protection, okay? Or not even the basic skills to say how to be safe with a gun or different things. So, and that can become very bad, because and then they grow up and they think about that, guns means pain, it means, danger, it means just something for rednecks out there, nothing wrong with rednecks. If you're a redneck, that's fine. But the point is, something just for people that they are kind of, I don't know, beast-like. No, I think guns can be, especially for a woman or anybody, a tool that can be fun, first of all, if you do it right. I mean, it can be very much fun. But also, a most important thing, what we call, it's the big equalizer. You can be an older person or a weaker person physically than many other people, and you can still have a chance to equalize, your rights. More important, of course, your self-defense, against more powerful people. So our first day at the range, can you describe a little bit your experience last week?
Well, it was kind of nerve-wracking at first because I'd never been to a gun range before, and all the guns were going off. But after a while, then it was good. I learned how to load up the gun, how to take the gun apart and look at it, and then...
We don't look at the gun or study the gun. How to be sure that we can clean it. Okay. We can also admire it if you want to once in a while, but also more important, you started to shoot straight. I mean, you started to shoot now with the principles of basic marksmanship, side alignment, side picture, trigger control, focusing on the front sight, You were doing very well.
We went through all those drills on what to do before you shot a gun, the safety, and the stances on how to shoot the gun before we actually shot the gun.
Yeah.
And then you made sure that I was safe doing all those things, which made it more comfortable to do the real shooting.
Yeah. Normally we start without ammo at all. We start with the unloaded guns or snap caps. Then we did some laser gun, and more important, then I tricked you a little bit. You thought I gave you some loaded gun. Instead, they were completely just, dummy rounds to see how you were reacting fine, and everything was fine. So now we're going to go through today a little bit more details. First of all, after action drills, also how to be sure that you can load the gun in an emergency when the gun is unloaded. It's called emergency reload, tactical reload, clearing malfunction 1, 2, and 3. And also keep practicing, because now it is not just about shooting from the gun position on the table. Now we need to start to say, how do you carry the gun? If you carry the gun in the holster, it's called presentation. How do you present the gun into a fight in a very limited time? If somebody is attacking you, you don't have 5 minutes to look for the gun, okay? You got to get the gun out in a very, let's say, safe and also fast as you can, guaranteeing the hits. So we call it the presentation. So we work on the gun presentation, many other things. What else? Are we going to now shop for a gun?
Yes, with your help.
All right, that's great. You know what I like about this? This is not about, just doing something. This is about spreading the gospel. I'm not even there. I'm not a preacher. I'm not, my religion is different. But regardless, the point is about spreading the gospel of freedom. Because now, to see a person that never really had much interest into firearms, now enjoying it and even buying their first firearm. I think this is exciting. Listen, anything you want to add to us about coming to Arizona? Come from another state. It's kind of a cold place, and it's winter time here. Different. What do you think about Arizona so far? Why is so funny? What do you think about it? Do you enjoy the weather? You enjoy the...
Yeah, I enjoy the weather. It's warm here. I like going out hiking, which means I can go up to the canyons and the mountains. I can go down and explore the deserts and the washes. And then the biking out here is amazing biking. However, there's a lot of wild animals out here.
That's why you carry also a handgun beside the knife. You have mountain lions. We have a lot of things that can be wild. Yeah, you saw some of those on your bike, right?
I did, because I bike at night when it's dark. Yes.
That's pretty scary, honestly, to bike during the darkness when you are surrounded by a zoo, pretty much. I mean, there are crazy stuff. I mean, think about it, guys. You don't go just in your backyard. She goes in the middle of just, BLM or whatever, public land, and with a little bicycle. It's not like an helicopter, okay? And you don't even have an engine. You have to pedal in case, something happens chasing you, you better pedal faster. You cannot just crank it up, okay? And sometimes you just get some skinny coyotes. Sometimes, you got mountain lions around here. I saw a few myself. Did you ever see any mountain lions?
I haven't seen a mountain lion, but one of my bike riding friends has seen a mountain lion. And then when I go out to the east and ride, they've seen black jaguars, black cougars out there when we're riding in the evening.
Yeah, and remember, sometimes cell phone doesn't really work around here, and even if it works, it's too late. 30 minutes before even they find you, okay, the sheriff, if they ever find you. So it's a very kind of an adventurous experience. Yes, you try to do the best to be, cautious, but sometimes that's the way it is. It's kind of a different experience. So I always say, please, at least bring a knife and then bring an extra weapon. That would be the firearm. So I'm very excited that you give me this opportunity to share with you. And now we go to do a little bit of training, of course, after this. And that's pretty much the story. I want to give you the floor for the last message, sentence for posterity, humanity. Maybe you want to say hi to mom and dad, whatever you want. Go ahead.
Oh, my dad would be very proud that I'm here taking these classes. He's wanted me to do this for quite some time because I am off by myself quite a bit out in remote areas. So my dad would be very happy I'm in these classes. I think that the classes are designed very well to learn all the drills and perfect the drills. But then towards the end of the classes, we go out and put them into real life, which does change things up quite a bit. Like when we go outside by the car or out in the back alley, or turn the lights down, that changes the whole brain and how to process those drills. So I'm happy to be part of the classes and to continue on.
Thank you, Wendy. I really appreciate your company and, you as a student. So now, guys, we're almost at the end. What I want to say is this. Thank you very much for listening and putting up with me. Last Sunday I was kind of busy. Now, next Sunday, guess what? I think we have Leo Zagami coming. We're almost there. I think it's the next Sunday. I'm not even sure. Anyway, it's the 30th, so figure it out. Anyway, regardless, don't forget, if you want to support the show, of course, support K-Talks, 1340 AM. And also don't forget to go directly to my website, zanna.us, download any of my songs, erotic poems, whatever you find, Zanna Coffee. That's the way, I make a living, Differently from the government, I don't rob your money. I just ask for it. Simple as that. And I always give you something back, of course. So, have a great rest of the week. Talk to you next Sunday. Ciao.